What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the inaugural episode of Clear the Benches Sports Talk, featuring myself, Ethan Hudspeth, my best buddy, Paul Michael Potter, and my girlfriend, Summer Hector. Clear the Benches is nothing short of a pure, authentic sports podcast. We discuss sports. We leave politics, serious matters like that out of this. We are not like ESPN. You're not watching CNN or Fox Sports. We're not going to try to drive any agenda at you. We're just going to come on here and talk about our stupid opinions and what we believe happens in the sports world. But first things first, I just want to thank everybody who is here right now listening/watching this podcast on YouTube or SoundCloud. It means the world to me that you gave us the chance, clicked our link, watched our video. You care about what we have to say, so stay tuned. We're not going to let you down. Just obviously, if you're here, you're listening to this on either YouTube or SoundCloud. So our usernames on both YouTube and SoundCloud are the same. That is Clear the Benches Sports Talk. On top of that, you could see it in our little intro picture. Our Twitter is at Clear the Bench ST for Sports Talk. Anyways, not going to hold you up anymore. We're going to get into the sports. Thank you. Well, I think it's pretty standard for first podcast ever that we should tell a little bit about ourselves here. So I'm just going to go ahead and say both of us are from Rock Hill, South Carolina, a.k.a. Football City, USA, home of Stephon Gilmore, Jadeveon Clowney, just Ben Watson, a bunch. Anyways, I'm Ethan. I just graduated from the University of South Carolina, although I hate the University of South Carolina athletic programs. I've been a Clemson fan for as long as I can remember, anybody else can remember. So might as well go ahead and tell them my allegiances here. I am a Washington Redskins fan. I am a Charlotte Hornets basketball fan. I am a Clemson University everything fan. So I'm not too keen on baseball. I'm not the smartest. I'm going to try. But I would say I'm a Braves fan, but I definitely need to get more involved in that. And NASCAR, to be frank with you, I was an Earnhardt fan, and now that there's no Earnhardt in it, it kind of sucks.
Jeffrey's going to make a comeback.
Jeffrey Earnhardt.
If you're listening.
If you're listening, we want you to come on. Anyways, go ahead.
I'm like you said, I'm Paul Michael Potter from Rock Hill as well. I go to Clemson University, so I'm obviously I'm a Clemson athletics fan in every aspect. I'm a Panthers fan for football, Hornets fan for basketball, and a Braves fan for baseball. And grew up my whole life watching the Braves more than anything else, probably. So I know a pretty good amount about baseball. And with NASCAR, I was an Earnhardt fan as well, but now I kind of sided with Chase Elliott now. I'm just Hendricks in general, but mainly Chase Elliott.
So pretty much we played it all growing up. We know it all growing up. Well, we probably suck at half of it, but we still know. We still talk about it. Well, anyways, go ahead and get into what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about the draft, some gems and busts, maybe some comparisons, who we like, who we don't like, basic. Being Clemson fans, we really don't like Joe Burrow much. But it is what it is.
Liked him a little bit before the end of the season.
we thought highly of him. Anyways, we're also going to get into the Kyle Larson incident. If you don't know what that is, it's NASCAR related, and you definitely need to stick around and hear about that if you don't already know, because that is just something else. Then we're going to get into some of the uniforms, new NFL uniforms. We're going to talk Patriots. We're going to talk Browns and all that. So anyways, we're just going to go ahead and get into the draft. So talk about our hidden gems and busts. Go ahead. You go first.
All right. Well, my first hidden gem is Benjamin. He's from Arizona State, running back. He's not the biggest. He's only 5'9", 207 pounds. He's really explosive, though. With his vert, he was in the 90th percentile with a 39-inch. He ran the 4.5 40. Not the best for a running back, but it'll get the job done. A 6.97 3-cone, which isn't the best, but I think that was like the 70th percentile, somewhere around there. But a lot of his, you can tell, is in his tape. He's a really good player.
Great football speed.
Yeah,
he's got great football speed.
Yeah, he produces. 2018 he averaged 5.5 yards per carry with a total of 1,642 yards, and last year 2019 his production was down a little bit, but it's still pretty good. 4.3 yards per carry with 1,083 yards. He didn't have as many touches. I think it was almost 100 less touches. His best game last year, though, was against Arizona. I feel like everybody should go watch that game if you're really interested in seeing what type of player Eno is. He had 2 touchdowns and 168 yards.
Yeah, people really talk about how heavy this class is on receivers, but it's also heavy on running backs, too. I think you got Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, all those big names coming out, so somebody like Eno Benjamin can fly under. It'd be like a situation where your team can slip up, draft Eno, maybe 5th round, and you land yourself like maybe if not a franchise back, but definitely
like Austin Eckler this past year.
Yeah,
he was at Chargers, stepping in when he needed to be.
A running back that's ready to play.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'd say. Well, for my first gem, I'd have Brian Edwards. He's a wide receiver from the University of South Carolina. And it's kind of touchy to call him a gem because there's so many good receivers in this class. It's like if this class wasn't so stacked on receivers, he would definitely be more highly touted and probably slip up in the first 2 rounds. Well, his thing is he's NFL ready. He's got great size and speed. He can make any catch. He's got an amazing catch radius, even though he had some drops at times last year. But you see what he did in college against SEC.
All 4 years too, not just 1 year.
He's see what he did in college against SEC competition. They played the toughest schedule in the country last year, and Brian Edwards produced like anybody else better than anybody else in the SEC. Was South Carolina's only bright spot on offense last year. He's pretty much all they had. Everything else was pretty much just sad, pitiful. But Brian Edwards pretty much put the team on his back at times because he's the only reliable target they really had after Debo left. But not to be biased here, which we say we're not going to be, but he's a Muschamp guy, and you know how Muschamp guys can be. They can suck in college, never reach full potential, hit the NFL, and next thing you know, they're just turning out, be one of the best players in the league. Like Javon Kinlaw is another example coming out. I mean, he produced in college, but
he'll be a first-round pick.
He's top 10, but he produced in college. But you didn't go to a USC game and you're like, wow, he's tearing it up. I mean, you see that guy's huge. He's fast, strong, but Muschamp, I just feel like Muschamp never reaches any of his players full. Like he never gets all of it out of them. But Brian Edwards, if this year was last year or next year, he might be first or second round. Another thing that hurts is he didn't work out at the combine, so that probably hurt his draft stock.
Yeah, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. A lot of people wait till their pro days nowadays, and so they can prepare better. And it's just bad luck with him that his pro day got canceled because of all this coronavirus going on. So
yeah.
So hopefully that'll not affect him too much.
Yeah.
Coaches should take that into consideration. But my next hidden gem, he's not a hidden gem to me because he's a Clemson player, and I'm a little biased here, but I think he's going to do well in the pros. It's Kayvon Wallace, the safety. He in his career, he had 166 tackles, 5 interceptions, 2 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles, which is he played a little bit freshman year and sophomore year, which wasn't I think he had 6 tackles freshman year, so not really that much, probably all special teams. And then a lot of his production came in his last 2 years. 2019, he had 72 total tackles, 2 sacks, which 2 sacks for a season for a safety is pretty good. 2 interceptions. And he's 5'11", so he's not the tallest, but he plays fast, plays physical. He's another explosive player with a 38-inch vertical, which is in the 81st percentile, and 11-foot 1-inch broad jump, which is also in the 81st percentile. And he's pretty strong. 18 bench press for a safety, which is 63%. And this whole season, he really showed out. Stepped it up a lot better than last year. Last year, I was a little scared about him coming into the year at safety. Though safety is going to be a weak point for Clemson, but I feel like he stepped it up and did the job he needed to do to be a high draft pick. And he showed out at the senior game, which was really good.
One thing with Kayvon is, I mean, he's not the biggest, definitely not the biggest. Doesn't have great NFL size, but to be 5'11" and weigh 100 nothing, he was really good in the run game.
Yeah, a lot of
surprisingly.
Into the open field tackling.
Yeah, he's really flown under the radar. He had a lot of big names with him on defense that kind of I wouldn't say taking the spotlight maybe, but get these like Isaiah Simmons played a lot of safety beside him, linebacker. Tanner Muse was another big name. AJ Terrell projected first, Hurley second. They took a lot of the credit, a lot of the spotlight was shown on them because I don't know their name and whatever, but Kayvon Wallace is he's talented, really good player. But anyways, my next gem is honestly probably most of you don't even know who this is. I barely know who this is. Is linebacker from Wyoming, Logan Wilson. He's pretty much your, I don't know. My comparison is Ben Boulware, obviously. You don't know this yet, but Ben Boulware is like my favorite Clemson player of all time. Definitely didn't get a fair shake in the NFL. But Logan Wilson is, he's average size, 6'2", he's 250. That's about 2 inches taller than Ben Boulware, but they play with the same tenacity. Basically, he might not have the best 40-ton speed, but his explosivity on tape, he really just jumps off tape. Then again, he's playing, whoever out there. What is it, Mountain West?
Yeah,
Mountain West Conference. I mean, there's that. But you got to look at his best tape was against Missouri, where pretty much anytime that's an SEC team, we like to bring that load of crap up, SEC speed, strength, whatever. But against your SEC opponent, Missouri, he showed out, had his best game. Pretty much nothing in between the tackles all game going from Missouri. He just pretty much shut the A gap, B gap down. He's just tenacious. He's an animal. But he's a 4-year starter. He's got great experience. Like, that'll definitely help him step up to the next level. He's got over 400 career tackles, which is
a lot.
Pretty freaking good considering 1 year I'm pretty sure he missed some time with injury. So that's pretty much Logan Wilson in a nutshell. Is just tenacious, gutsy, high-powered, in between the tackle, hard-nosed, just the linebacker you just love to see. You want on your team. Yeah, that's about all there is to Logan Wilson. Definitely wouldn't mind my Skins taking him. We could use him.
Looks a lot better on tape than he does on paper.
He definitely looks a lot better. He's one of those guys. Looks a lot better on tape than on paper. You got another one, or I got one more?
I got one more I can do. It's tight end out of Washington, Hunter Bryant. He's a little undersized, but his blocking makes up for it. He's probably one of the top blocking tight ends coming in this class, and it's not a really heavy tight end class. I mean, last year was pretty good with the two Iowa tight ends.
No projected tight ends in the first round.
Yeah,
not even early second this year.
Yeah, so I think waiting on him and getting him, he's not even top tight end projected, but I think he'll be a good fill for somebody as a number 2 tight end. And I mean, against the best team in the Pac-12. I know Oregon won the Pac-12, but Utah was the best team in the Pac-12. He had 2 touchdowns, 6 receptions for 105 yards. So he showed out against the great Pac-12.
Pac-12.
The best defense in the Pac-12. Utah.
Well, Utah's the only Pac-12 team that really had a defense. To be honest, they may have lost, but
that's what kept them so good. I think they finished number 9 overall.
Yeah,
which was pretty good.
Well, my last one. It's weird to say sleeper, not sleeper, but I'll just say that he's not as highly projected as you would think he would be. Defensive tackle out of Bama, Raekwon Davis. I mean, the guy's huge, 330, 6'4", something like that. I don't know. He's just in your SEC where everybody is stronger and faster than everywhere else. Raekwon Davis pushed around interior offensive linemen like they were like nothing. Like I used to push around offensive linemen at South Point. But everybody knows about his great sophomore year. He pretty much shut it down. Then again, their sophomore year, his sophomore year, they lost in the national championship, right?
Yeah.
Thought so. Got pushed around by an even stronger ACC offense. Great speed and size there. But he's got a lot of criticism because his productivity really slumped off compared to that sophomore year. I mean, kind of he's got the Clowney syndrome. When Clowney, his senior year of at USC, he really slumped because it was I mean, it was like all the attention on the offensive line, defensive line was going to him because he was such a playmaker. I kind of get the same vibe from Raekwon. He might have a little bit of a work issue, laziness. I wouldn't say laziness, but taking plays off, stuff like that is something that comes up on tape for him. But if he applied himself, the NFL defensive coordinators got a hold to him, D-line coaches, and got him to work, got him in shape, got him ready, he'd be Daron Payne. Well, that's obvious to me. But, I mean, he could be Daron Payne, he's an animal. He's the future of the league. But anyways, I mean, honestly, to me, you look at Raekwon Davis and you look at Derrick Brown and Javon Kinlaw, and you don't, talent-wise, you just don't see a huge gap there. Yeah. You got big men pushing people around. That's just, there's no big gap between Raekwon Davis and the rest of them.
Yeah, a lot of people have them though as about a 20-pick gap though in between. The top two, Javon and.
That's why I'm saying he might not be. All right, listen, I'm backpedaling here, but he won't be considered a gem because he's still going to go fairly early. Yeah, but I'm just saying compared to everybody else, it's not that far of a drop off to me between Raekwon Davis and the Derrick Brown and Javon.
He'll have the production right away.
He definitely will.
The other two will have.
We good there? We going?
Yeah.
All right.
On the bus.
So we're moving on the bus here. I don't know. I've got a few shocking names here. Paul's got a few shocking names. Y'all might hate us for this one, but they make sense. Go ahead, you got it.
All right. Well, my first one I'm gonna go with is DeAndre Swift. I think DeAndre Swift is a great player, and I think he's a heck of a running back. But with all the running backs in this class, with especially Jonathan Taylor and a bunch of other people that should be drafted above him, but probably won't be. I think that DeAndre Swift won't have the production at the beginning. I think he's a little undersized. He did a lot of good in Georgia's offense, but everything was straight run, so he had a lot of carries, probably one of the best lines in the country. So
Derrick Henry effect when he played for Bama, 50 touches a game. Come on, give me a break. But DeAndre Swift thing with him, nothing. I mean, he's solid, he's consistent, he was a good college running back, but nothing jumps off. See, when you find a good NFL talent, something jumps off their tape at you where you say, man, that guy's really good at. He's a powerful runner, tough runner, fast runner, like crazy. Jumps off. Nobody's even touching him. DeAndre Swift, I mean, he's consistent. He produces, but nothing really jumps off to make you think that he's just going to be the most productive NFL runner.
And you don't really know about the pass pro either. Like I said, they ran the ball a lot, and even when they did pass, I don't think his pass pro was the best that you would expect for especially a NFL running back. I think that there's a lot more running backs that will be drafted after him that will have better pass pros and will be just as productive running between the tackles and outside the tackles. So I think he'll probably be taken in the first round, but I would wait till the late second, early third for him, honestly, talent-wise and what he puts out there.
With that guy, I mean, his size and his physicality in the pass pro game, you can imagine seeing Leighton Vander Esch, Bobby Wagner.
Destroying him.
Yeah, just screaming A-gap and just pulling this guy. I mean, he's all whatever. We'll see. All these are hypothetical. If he breaks out, don't come on my boy's Paul's neck.
So. Yeah. I'll take it all back then. This never existed. This never existed.
We're not haters. We're just speaking.
What we think.
All right. So my bust. Here we go. Big one here. My bust is Joe Burrow. No, you're just kidding. Jordan Love, Utah State quarterback. Paul doesn't agree with this one at all. Anyways, but I mean, his arm. There's this. He kind of gives me a Josh Allen vibe. Josh Allen. He don't even have Josh Allen's arm talent, but he has pretty good arm talent. He kind of has the tendency to telegraph his throws, lack of awareness. His senior year, he actually dropped in what's my word I'm looking for? Productivity. His productivity decreased his senior year, which is that's been a big dagger for him. But everybody's here lately, all the big names, Kuiper, whatever. Jordan Love's kind of just skyrocketing up their draft boards up to like above Justin Herbert, which I don't know if I see that.
Justin's hands are huge.
Just cause his hands are huge. He's just screaming up, but nah. I've seen a lot of talk of him going to New England. which that is not the answer in New England.
I saw something today that maybe Green Bay will take him and let him sit behind Rodgers for a few years, and because they like doing that with good quarterbacks. They just did that with Rodgers behind Brett Favre. So
you think they take him round 1 if they're going to let him sit though? I don't know.
They did it with Rodgers.
Did Rodgers?
Maybe not.
Rodgers either went early. I don't know. He was. I know
I
the
could
whole
be wrong. I could
the
be
whole
wrong.
thing was Rodgers sitting alone in the green room. Whatever. I'm guessing
I
that
thought
was
it was
still
late first, but I could be.
He could, but he's not the answer for New England because New England. I mean, he's not going to come in and win now. You know, if I was New England, I might just.
I'd try to get a trade or a free agent.
I might just tank for Trevor. I don't know.
I don't know if Bill wants to do that.
Bill don't
think
want to
that's
tank. Bill ain't tanking.
In his,
but Trevor Lawrence would fit that system. That Bill Belichick, my God, that'd be scary.
Might have to be a New England fan.
Shoot, I mean, maybe if they had Gilly, Stephon Gilmore, and Trevor Lawrence, I would be up that. Yeah. Well, on top of that, completely just rebound here. Jordan Love has a terribly slow wind-up. It's like not quite the Tim Tebow wind-up, the little round thing, but he does have a loop in his wind-up. That never works in the NFL. We know. Well, we're not going to say never, but that usually doesn't work in the NFL.
Yeah.
We know that. Anyways, go ahead.
All right, my next one is going to be the corner from Alabama, Trayvon Diggs. I mean, he's probably going to be a first-round pick, but like with DeAndre Swift, I think you could probably wait and get a corner with the same productivity as him. He got exposed a few times this year. When you think of an Alabama corner coming out so early, or even safety from them, you expect somebody that can come out and play first round or first year, put up the numbers. Someone like even Florida State's Jalen Ramsey, whenever he was drafted, someone that come out and play right away and put up big numbers. And I just don't see that happening with Trayvon Diggs. So I would wait. I think if I was a GM, I would wait, try to get him second, third round. Probably go first round.
Yeah, probably. Well, he don't have great size either, does he?
I mean,
I don't know.
6'2", 195.
Well, he's got good size.
He's pretty.
I'm
he's
thinking
pretty good
wrong.
size, which I think is why a lot of people are very high on him.
True.
Because he can play against the taller corners. I mean, the taller receivers.
Well, I just completely butchered
It's
that
okay.
one.
I messed one
I
up.
definitely didn't. But for my last bust, I don't know. Paul might have one more, but for my last bust, I have. All right, bear with me here. Receiver from Colorado, Laviska Shenault Jr. Anyways, this might just be me out of spite because I've seen a lot of people creeping Laviska Shenault up to the 5th best receiver in the draft over T. Higgins, which I definitely don't see.
Yeah.
But anyways, his downsides are definitely route running because wait, what's Colorado? They're Pac-12.
Yeah, Pac-12.
Okay, so Colorado, Pac-12, you watch his tape, he just one-on-one goes up, dominates everybody. Nobody can – I mean, he just out-athletic everybody. He's like – body size is like Brian Edwards, prototypical. He's like 6'2", maybe 220. So he's got the size, but I haven't seen the route running on tape. I've seen him give away a lot of his routes. Very good. I've seen him give away a lot of his routes with his hips. Not to sound like I'm freaking ESPN here or anything, and another thing, I hate this term. I hate it, but because my boy Darius Geis gets called the same thing, but he is injury prone because he missed pretty much all of his sophomore year. And then his senior year, he didn't get to finish because everybody knows about his surgery and blah, 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 which kudos to Laviska because all reports from his workouts lately have said that he's back 100%. He bounced back quick because I think he had surgery maybe December, so that's a pretty quick turnaround for him. But I don't know. For me, I just don't see it. I don't see his name listed with T. Higgins, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy. Definitely not in that order, by the way. I'm just saying that. T. Higgins first in my mind. But basically, Laviska Shenault, if I had to say, I would guess he would be a bust. Just basically primarily route running alone. But if NFL OCs can get with him, work on his route running, he's definitely got the athleticism. Listen, we're saying bust, but we're not hoping for bust.
Yeah,
we're just
hope everybody does good.
We love all y'all, but
especially get the draft to the Panthers.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways, you saying that one, or are you
Nah,
scared?
I'm good.
All right, we're scared. It's at Thaddeus Moss, by the way. Anyways, so our next segment that we're gonna be doing here, we're gonna be bringing in someone very near and dear to my heart, my own girlfriend, to talk about. We're going to be talking about the new uniforms in the NFL, such as the Browns, Patriots, blah, blah, blah. Falcons? We don't like Falcons. But anyways, this is not me. Listen, Summer, my girlfriend, she knows sports. I'm not, what is it? Is it stereotyping or played? No, not, what is it? I don't know the word. But we're not saying Summer doesn't know how to talk regular sports with us because she's a girl. Because, trust me, maybe even next podcast, but soon she will be on talking about actual sports, how they're played. But for today, I'd like to introduce to you my girlfriend, Summer Hector, to talk about these new uniforms with us. So now we're going to probably introduce the best part of the show, bringing on my girlfriend, Summer Hector. So I'm just going to let her come on and talk about herself because she's probably going to be a staple on this podcast. So you should probably get to know her. So go ahead, tell them about yourself.
A staple. I am this podcast. I'm just kidding. I'm Summer.
Whatever.
I'm a reporter in Charleston, newly starting out working for Channel 5, which is our CBS affiliate in Charleston, but definitely missing sports right about now, which I think a lot of people are. But definitely need a fix for talking about sports. So here we go, right? What are we talking about first today?
Well, you can tell that she's a little bit more prepared than me for this with her reporter voice and how she carries herself. But anyways, we're going to get into a little bit of talk. I figured, I introduced at the beginning of the podcast, said that me and you would only be talking about uniforms, but I felt like that was a little degrading. I felt like you were capable and needed to show everyone that you can talk about more. So we're going to talk about the recent Rob Gronkowski updates, the trade with New England to Tampa Bay. And then, like I said before, we're going to get into the uniforms because, I have no style, so really need a lady's touch. Let her tell us what she thinks about those, and I'll try to tell you what I think about them. But anyways, like I said, first, I just wanted to introduce this whole Gronk topic. If you guys haven't heard yet, Gronk has unretired, so conveniently unretired, and he got traded from the Patriots to the Buccaneers to be with his friend old Tommy Boy. The Patriots got a 5th and a 7th round pick, and the Bucs got Gronk. So, that's – I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this whole ordeal. But
yeah, well, and when Rob Gronkowski first retired, it was definitely a shock to a lot of people. But I think also a lot of people thought, no way this guy's actually done playing football. And yeah, he had a lot of injury concerns, but also, this guy was hyper all over the place. You were like, there's no way he's just done being out of the spotlight. So I think this is kind of just perfect Gronk fashion that, like, Tom Brady's back. And he's like, you know what? I'm kind of bored right now. Yeah, sure, I'll stick around. I'll come back for another year. We're already surprised that Tom Brady's a Buccaneer now, so why not add Rob Gronkowski to the mix, right?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But you were right about the whole Gronk spotlight thing. He couldn't stay away from the spotlight. He needed his fix. A lot of people might know, but he recently actually signed a contract with the WWE. He won championship, 24/7 title in WWE. And I don't know the details of his contract off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it was at least a year. They even trusted him enough to have him on weekly television, and he hosted their biggest show of the year, WrestleMania. And I can just imagine Vince McMahon, the owner of WWE, is just absolutely fuming right now after dumping all this hope and hyping up Rob Gronkowski. But, that's typical Gronk fashion to just throw that into the wind, doesn't whatever. Gronk does what he wants. I'm not necessarily a fan of it, but he does what he wants. But one thing that we should not be ignoring here, the elephant in the room, at least for me and you, is that Summer was not out of – okay. Lifelong Buccaneer fan might not be the term, but she grew up in a Buccaneer family. Everybody's Buck fan. She has family from Tampa Bay. Her family is from Tampa Bay, not Tampa Bay area, But let's just say that a particular quarterback for the Buccaneers, drove Summer out to Carolina Panthers. But now that the Buccaneers are getting all this hype, these players, maybe Summer's going to jump back on the bandwagon?
Yeah, definitely been a trying time for me for sure. Yeah, like you said, my family's from St. Petersburg. My mom grew up diehard Bucks fan. Her dad had season tickets to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They suffered through hot losing seasons when I'm talking it was terrible. But then, they also made it through the Mike Allstott days, and, they were hardcore Bucks fans. And definitely big John Gruden fans, rightfully so. And then both my parents actually ended up going to the University of Florida, so I was raised a Florida fan. So once the Bucks drafted Jameis, down here in the South, usually your college loyalty kind of trumps your NFL loyalty a little bit. So Bucks drafted Jameis, they were out. And, even before then, we had moved to the Carolinas. My brother and I kind of picked up the Carolina Panthers as our own team. So, we were like, okay, this is our team with the Panthers. And then that happens to the Bucks with Jameis. We're like, oh, yeah, we're done with the Bucks, whatever. And then now the Panthers have lost Luke Kuechly, Greg Olsen, two of my favorite Panthers. Now then again, Cam Newton is gone, which, I'm a little indifferent. We'll probably get into my thoughts on Cam Newton. We can do a whole show on that later, just on my theories there. But never been a diehard Tom Brady fan, but it's definitely kind of hard to say, okay, here's a team that I used to be a fan of. They just got the best quarterback in the league. What are you going to think?
Best quarterback in the history of the league. On top.
Not history of the league. Best quarterback in the league right now.
Like you said, that's okay. That's also not true. He might be top 5. He's not a top 5 quarterback in the league right now, but he is one of the best quarterbacks in the history. You got Mahomes, Deshaun, you got all the Watts, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers. He's not Drew Brees. He's not top 5 now, but he is easily top 1, 2 ever for quarterbacks history of the league. But anyways, not our topic here. Our topic's Gronk. So, how do you feel about what he did? He just kind of seems like Tom's kind of got tough for him to – I wouldn't say Patriots were still decent. They made playoff runs, but you can tell that the Patriots weren't the same team anymore, and that's kind of when Gronk just got out. He retired. And now, so conveniently, his quarterback, Tom Brady, goes and he's building a super team, probably the best offense in the league. Well, one of the best offenses in the league.
Best offense in the NFC South. Drew Brees might argue with that.
You're being rid of New Orleans now.
Yeah, I know, right?
How do you feel about – see, personally, if I was the Patriots, I'd be like, no, dude, screw you. You didn't want to play for us? We're not trading you. Like, figure it out. I don't know. But
yeah, I think 20 years ago that's the case. But, we see it so commonly now in players all the time. They're done, and then they decide, they drop out, and everyone says, oh, well, you were thinking about your health, so, you're fine. And everyone kind of has a lot more respect for that, but also it's just a lot more common. And, kind of like we already addressed, Rob Gronkowski does what he wants. So, it's kind of like Rob Gronkowski wants to do this, he's going to get it. Tom Brady wants Gronk there, Tom Brady's going to get Gronk there. And I think the biggest thing is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if Tom Brady said, I want Gronk here, the Bucs probably said, well, we're doing whatever we can to keep this guy happy, Now, Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard, probably not on the happy side of
they're
that one.
Probably not on the happy list. I'm guessing one of those guys are getting traded, probably for I don't know what the Bucs need, something on defense. Sure, but
yeah, it's kind of interesting too. I've had O.J. Howard in fantasy football, once or twice. Just kind of picked him up, especially on off weeks. Someone's out, pick him up, and he never really surprises me. Now every once in a while he has a good day, but thinking about that tight end core at Tampa Bay was. Honestly, I don't think great. Some people will say O.J. Howard's a really great tight end. Some people say he's not. He's just very inconsistent. Was he inconsistent because Jameis Winston was his quarterback?
That's the question.
Probably.
That's the question.
But there's no question that the chemistry that Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady have is pretty undeniable. Pretty hard to beat that chemistry other than Brady and Edelman, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about O.J. Howard. Their tight end situation might have been a product of Jameis. Jameis was one game he looked like the MVP of the league. The next he looked like he should be benched for Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's just how that was. That's kind of how O.J. Howard's games went as well. Like sometimes O.J. Howard looked like the tight end coming out of Bama, best tight end in the draft class, physical, fast, perfect, prototypical tight end. Then other times he just looked, inconsistent. Probably didn't get the targets he needed, but that's could just be a product of Jameis being Jameis. Which, not saying anything negative against Jameis, he has potential to be great now that he got his eyes fixed, right? But
I'm saying negative things about Jameis 100%. Not to say he doesn't have the talent. I just think there's other areas of football knowledge that he's not all there with. But, that's someone who's gone now from the Bucs. I still love his quote saying how honorable it was to be replaced by a guy like Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's
and
ridiculous.
It's like you said, dude, you were replaced by Ryan Fitzpatrick a couple times. That was a whirlwind in itself. But, I just think about how crazy it is that the Bucs went from that last season to now they have Tom Brady. I mean, never in my life did I think Tom Brady would be a Buccaneer. But here we are, and now he's joined by Rob Gronkowski. So sports are definitely unpredictable. And leave it to football, right, to bring the excitement in a time where all other sports have nothing buzzing.
Exactly. Well, one more question for you on the subject of subject-ish about Gronk, more about the Buccaneers as a whole. But you being a Panthers fan, what do you think that this whole Buccaneers super team thing is going to what do you think that's going to cause in the NFC South? Maybe not specifically with the Panthers, but, the Saints are always they're contenders from time to time. But what do you think is going to happen there?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for the first time in a long time, the NFC South is going to be super exciting to watch. The Saints are, like you said, are always the Saints, but, we don't know, is this Drew Brees' last year? Is Drew Brees done? But if it is his last year or one of his last years, that guy's going for it all. And, I mean, as we saw last year, he's still there. He's still looking young and vibrant, so it could easily be the Saints. The Bucs are definitely going to shake things up. It will be interesting to see what Tom Brady does without Bill Belichick and without the Patriots. Panthers, on the other hand, I got to say it is not looking good. If I'm them, I am very worried. And, Teddy Bridgewater, new quarterback for the Panthers, going to spice things up a little bit. Hopefully it's exciting. Christian McCaffrey, highest paid running back in the league. Hopefully that's some more motivation. Not like that guy needs any more motivation, at least I don't think. But I definitely, if I'm the Panthers, I'm worried and I got a lot of work to do. But, it's going to be exciting. Things are going to be different in the NFC South, long story short. So it's definitely going to be an exciting season. I'm excited to see it. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I see the Buccaneers coming in and taking over like this. Maybe not. I don't know. It's going to be a race between the Buccaneers and the Saints, in my opinion. It depends on what Tom Brady, how he fits in, how he moves, how everything works out for him. It's obvious Tom Brady's arm is not there. He's got the whole Peyton Manning end of career syndrome thing. He's just fading out. Anybody does it. That's Father Time catches all of us. So, depending on Tom Brady's status will depend on how far the Buccaneers will go. In my opinion, even though they could have a consistent running game, they got Ronald Jones. He's got the world of potential in front of him. He's a fast guy. He's great off tackle, in between tackles, everything. But without Tom Brady, that machine doesn't go. Regardless if you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, whoever, that machine doesn't go. But on that topic of the quarterback situation in Carolina, last thing I'm going to say about this, if Teddy Bridgewater don't work out, we got P.J. Walker sitting there behind him just ready to take over. Hey, listen, the P.J. Walker experiment could happen for a year, and what could I say? The Panthers should you say, tank for Trevor, maybe?
You can definitely see it happening. I know you were a big fan of P.J. Walker in the XFL.
Love him.
But yeah, you never know. I've definitely heard the rumors. It'd definitely be exciting to, have a somewhat local guy come and stay in the Carolinas now. If things start looking bad, wouldn't put it past him. That would definitely spice things up, and I wouldn't be opposed to it for sure. Also, though, we're talking all this talk about the NFC South, and we haven't mentioned the Atlanta Falcons, but I do know you said we were going to be talking about new uniforms, and that's a uniform I actually really like. What are your thoughts on the new Falcons uniforms?
You like the Falcons uniform?
I do like the Falcons uniforms. Now, I did see on Twitter that they looked like the uniforms from The Longest Yard, and now that I saw that picture comparison, I can't unsee it. But, that doesn't necessarily make me not like them. I like a classic black and red. It's definitely something very fierce about it. Subtle, but I like them. What are your thoughts?
Well, okay. I'll tell you this much. I like the blackouts, the simplicity of the black on black and the black on white and their throwback that they released with that picture. I like that. I like simplicity. You're going to find out simplicity in a uniform is good for me. But you did see that uniform. They had that kind of started at black and faded to red as it went up. Did you see this one? You know what I'm talking about? I think that is god awful. I'm not a fan of that at all. No.
I think it's kind of cool. It's very modern. It's kind of cool.
I don't know.
It's something different. I like it.
Well, I mean, that's why you're the fashionista, and I always get yelled at because I don't know how to dress. But,
I don't know if that makes me a football uniform fashionista. One uniform I still think is god ugly is the Cleveland Browns, and I don't think there's much changing that. But, they tried. They really tried.
You think that I mean, okay, this is the thing with me, and this is kind of, you'll notice, is a reoccurring theme for me with all these uniforms is I kind of like the Browns. They're kind of paying homage to their older uniforms, the shoulder stripe. Okay, honestly, I think their uniforms are better than they had. But
which isn't saying
ugly
much.
as crap in the first place. So, I mean, they couldn't do much wrong. I think they improved, but it's definitely not the best looking uniform we have on their list.
Yeah, and debatably, I think the best uniform on the list might be the new Tampa Bay Buccaneers uniforms. And
okay,
I might look like I'm just jumping back on ship,
biased.
no pun intended, on the Bucs bandwagon right now. But I like. You said you like the old school for the Browns. I like incorporating a little bit of the old creamsicle orange, not too much, but enough to kind of, incorporate their history. I really like them. I think, you got new quarterback, Tom Brady. He's new for you, still old, kind of incorporates new uniforms, still incorporating some of the old. Very interesting. I like them. I think they look really cool, and they have a couple different designs. I actually like the white ones with a little bit of the the pewter, the red,
yes.
The orange. I like it.
Dude, let me just go ahead and tell you, when I saw the uniforms come released, Tampa Bay before this, I thought had the worst uniform in the league. Those things were hideous. I hated them. But like I said before, talking about the Falcons, I like simplicity. They brought back simplicity, and honestly, these uniforms, the kind of matte brown, really weird way to describe that, I know, matte brown, bronzish, and the just basic red uniform, it just makes me think that Mike Allstott's just going to come running out of the tunnel and just bowl some guy over. Like, it just makes me think about my childhood, and I'm a huge, huge fan of the Bucs new uniform. I love them. But
I know, right?
Talking about
I definitely makes me think of Mike Allstott too, but man, it sounds like we're really riding high on the Bucs all around right now, aren't we?
Yeah, well, riding high, maybe not. Maybe not riding too high. But we talked about how kind of we're going to call them new uniforms, but they're really similar to their old uniforms. But this new uniform from the Bucs kind of ushering in a new era with Tom Brady. Okay, the Patriots' new uniforms are kind of ushering out the Tom Brady era. You notice that? It's like Tom Brady was there. They wore the same uniforms throughout their whole entire run with Brady, all the Super Bowls, whatever. Brady's gone. They're not new uniforms, but they're new primary uniforms.
No, I agree. I think, it kind of makes sense, though. I kind of like it. You know what? They're saying clean slate, new start. Here's a new look for us. I like the new Patriots uniforms. Anything red, white, and blue is always kind of nice. They look very nice. They're nothing too special, nothing that's too flashy that I'm like, oh, wow, I love that. But, I think it is a nice upgrade. Their old uniforms were looking pretty old and classic. It's nice to mix it up a little bit.
So far, I have the Patriots' new uniform released right underneath the Buccaneers. I don't know. I really like their uniforms, too, the simplicity. I know I've probably mentioned this name 3 or 4 times throughout this podcast, but I saw Stephon Gilmore's Instagram post with the new uniform on, and I just got to say he looked pretty clean. And
yeah, well, of course you're going to say that about Stephon Gilmore.
He's going to look even more clean with that Jordan sponsor on him. But
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's awesome. He's going to have
that's very fitting. Very happy for him.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know we also talked about a couple different uniforms. We talked about the Colts. Just a little tweak, but this is something I didn't realize, and this is new, that inside the C is the shape of Indiana. I don't know if you've seen that. I thought that was kind of cool. I always like when teams can kind of incorporate that, incorporate
subtle.
Where they're from. Subtle, but then when you catch it, you're always like, oh, that's really cool.
My thing with the Colts are, you imagine a Colts uniform ever, any generation, Johnny Unitas, Peyton Manning, anybody ever in a Colts uniform, you imagine the same uniform. It's the same thing. And I also happen to be a big fan of tradition and culture. Like, I don't know. That's their look. If they change it up, it'd be weird, and it'd be I don't know. They just need to stick with what they got. It reminds me of how Alabama their uniforms would be, and that's just what they are. To wear that is it's symbolic. To wear that is just their culture. That's just their thing. I don't know, but side note though, small side note before we get into this last uniform. What about the Rams' new logo? What do we think?
I saw someone tweet this on Twitter, and they said that the Rams' new logo looks like an old school small TV station logo. And now that I've seen that, I can't unsee it. It just looks very basic and old school, but not really in a good way. Kind of like it was made on clip art or something. True. I don't know. I just think for a new logo, they could have put a lot of more work in that, or maybe they did. This is the one they chose. I'm thrilled about it. I'm not really sure what they were thinking there.
I don't really, whatever. But I just think it's pretty tacky looking, honestly. Yeah, it's rough. As long as they don't go back to wearing the white horn helmets on top of their yellow looking jerseys, color rush things, we're good. Just never do that again. But anyways, getting to this last uniform here, I think we all know who this is. The king of uniforms in the NFL by far, the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah. Wait.
Their new uniforms are just the best uniforms in the league. They're sick.
Are we still calling them San Diego Chargers?
Oh, no. They're the LA Chargers.
Yeah. The LA Chargers, and I think, perfect reason to spice it up. I don't know if you noticed this. I like their uniforms too. Those are probably up there with the Bucs. The blue and the yellow is always a little flashy, but definitely very LA, especially with that Chargers logo. But I don't know if you noticed this. They had the numbers on the helmet in a couple of them, and I think that's really cool too. I always like a number on the helmet. Especially you don't see that too much in the NFL, but I thought that was a nice touch, and it's really cool. And definitely like the little Navy variation that they have one of those. I think that's really exciting too. I'm actually really excited to see those.
The Navy is really cool. I really, really like the Navy. But, we've been talking about a lot of these uniforms paying homage to older uniforms, the Browns, Bucks, whatever. The Chargers helmet numbers is actually an old Chargers uniform thing, like the Fouts days. I'm really stoked that they incorporated that into the uniform, and they have the shoulder stripe came back. That's like it's basically their old not old powder blues, but like it's powder blues from the past. I don't know if the bolt on the side of the pants was like old, but I'm like their older style, but I don't know. That's the only part of the uniform that's kind of questionable to me, but I love everything else about it. The Navy variation is awesome. I don't know. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, I actually really like the bolt on the pants. It's different than just a stripe down like everything else. It kind of makes it exciting, especially if someone's running fast. I think it'll look cool. It does look a little like XFL or AAF, maybe with a little bit more, oh, wow, there's a lightning bolt on the leg. But you know what? I like it. I think it's cool, and it's something different. And, like you said, it matches the helmet with the bolts on it, but then there's also the number there, so that'll kind of mix it up too. I'm excited about them.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with the XFL. But anyways, I think that's going to pretty much wrap us up here. And thanks, Summer, for coming on, enlightening us with your knowledge and your fashion expertise, you might say. But, looking forward to doing it again. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. I don't know if I would call it football uniform expertise, but happy to be here. Looking forward to many more of this, especially once sports start to ramp up. I'm sure we'll have plenty of topics to talk about, and I'm always down for a good sports debate. So getting excited for this. Let's get started.
All right. Cut. I think we did really good. We're way better than me and Paul.
I think so too. I think we're more conversational.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes I was having conversations with myself with Paul, and you like took over to. All right. So here we go. Whew, rough subject here. Touchy. I don't know. We're gonna dance around trying to say what happened. All right. definitely not a light. Well, somewhat. No, it's not a lighthearted subject. All right, moving on to the Kyle Larson incident. If we don't know who Kyle Larson is, know that there's not a lot of NASCAR fans anymore now that the Earnhardt's left. Psych. But Kyle Larson's a NASCAR Monster Energy Cup driver, drives number 42 car.
Was.
Huh? Well, we'll get into that. But he is a great driver. He's a great driver.
Chip Ganassi.
And raced for Chip Ganassi. We know that now this coronavirus has got a hold on everything sports. So you may or may not know that the NASCAR has been doing this thing called iRacing, which is like it's not a video game, but it's like
Simulation.
it's a simulation. So like all these people, all the NASCAR drivers have like the steering wheel and the whole setup pretty much virtually that's set up in their house, and they race against each other online, like how we play Call of Duty and I Smoke Paul and all that stuff.
Always.
It's like the same thing, except these are professional drivers and pretty much real equipment. So anyways, Kyle Larson was racing in one of these. I don't know if it was the big iRace.
No, it was somebody's Twitch stream, which is where you play video games for people to watch online. And so he was he was in somebody's stream, and I guess he was mic checking to see if his mic was on. And
all right, let's just say this. Let's say this. All right, so you'll just have to look a clip up, but he's going, hey, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Nobody can hear him. Nobody's saying anything. So he's mic checking. He's going check, testing. And then for whatever reason crossed his mind, all these people everywhere watching this stream, decides that he's going to just blurt out of no context, just blurt out the N-word, hard R on top of that, which is just...
Either way, it's not
good.
For one, obviously we both know that it's not a good thing for him to say. It looks very bad on the sport of NASCAR.
Terrible.
A lot of people always associate NASCAR and racism and
rednecks and all that.
And Kyle Larson is not that type of person. Like, he's from California, raised not redneck. He's
wealthy.
Yeah, he's not the stereotypical what you would think
NASCAR fans and drivers would be.
But here he is saying
the N-word.
The N-word on stream for everybody here. And
I mean, what crosses your mind? You're sitting here talking. You're trying to mic check. You know that there's people watching you. So what if it does come through? But you're sitting here. You could have said anything. Literally, even any swear word in the book ever could have been better than that. Like, literally, you could have said anything, or you could have just kept saying test. Or how about just text who you're playing with, say, hey, man, can you hear me?
That's what we do.
That's what we do. We don't go blurting the N-word out for everybody to hear it. I don't know. I mean...
the people he's playing with right away, they're like, Kyle, we can hear you, bud.
Yeah, if you watch the clip, they're all like, oh, man, like, what are you
They knew right away what was about to happen. But because of this, he got dropped from Chip Ganassi. He got all his sponsors taken, McDonald's, Target, all of them. And
he's pretty much, he got suspended from...
Indefinitely,
suspended from the NASCAR Monster Energy Cup. I'm pretty sure just everything.
And Twitch, probably.
He's pretty much just screwed.
Yeah.
But it's really not a funny matter. It's really not, but it's weird to say, but it's just the situation. He's just an idiot. He's just, we don't...
Not the brightest thing.
Not the smartest thing you could say. But, well, he's still probably going to get to race dirt track, which you might not know this, but Kyle Larson might be, NASCAR fans don't come at my neck on this, but Kyle Larson might be the best dirt track driver in the series. Yeah. So, I mean, he's got that. Doesn't make up for anything he said, but
no.
I guarantee you somewhere down the line that he'll have a freaking ride with Stuart Haas Racing, because what does Tony Stewart have to lose? He already freaking killed somebody, right?
Yeah.
Nah, not really.
It's all a joke.
It's not all a joke,
but
it's just
he's got stuff to lose.
He's got stuff to lose. Tony Stewart, I don't know. He didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, that's like I said.
That's up for debate.
That's up for debate. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Either way. All right.
You want to go into some NBA stuff? Or
before we do that, we have something to talk about here. So me and Paul, we are the co-owners of a clothing company called Blue Tick Clothing Company. provide comfortable Southern style shirts, hats like the one you see here. Yep. At a pretty reasonable price. Everybody just talks about how comfortable everything that we have to offer is. So if you're watching this, you're listening, you want to support us, get to know us better, get to know what we do when we're not talking about sports, which we usually are always talking about sports. We're also passionate about this other thing, Blue Tick Clothing Company. So check us out. Our website is www.bluetickco.com. Our Instagram is Blue Tick Clothing. So just if you get a free time, want to help us out, just
look at that.
Look at it. We'd really appreciate it. I mean, we're passionate, almost as passionate about it as we are about sports. But anyways, Paul, go ahead.
Well, so we're going to start talking about what hypothetically we thought would happen if the NBA season got to play out this year and they got to have a playoff, and because we'd be in the playoffs right now, wouldn't it be playoff time?
Hornets? Oh no, we would be in the playoffs. Would have started Saturday, but unfortunately, due to all this crap, one of the best times of the year to be a sports or a basketball fan, just screwed us all over. But I mean, honestly, the Western Conference was all but written who was going to be
come out of
battling for it. I mean, not all but written. I think New Orleans, the Pelicans, would have made that push. Now that Zion came back, they were on a winning streak, getting some team chemistry. I think they would have notched in 8-7 seed maybe, but I'm talking about the contenders who you would have basically be battling out for the Western Conference. It's pretty obvious. It'd be the Lakers and the Clippers all day in the West.
Well, yeah, I agree that that's the most logical standpoint and what probably would have happened, but I just stir things up too, because I don't like always going with the flow, always doing what's obvious. I was going to go with the Lakers and the Jazz. I think the Jazz have some talent that can.
Coronavirus.
Yeah, a lot of the talent got started this whole outbreak. Well, not started it, but had a lot of spread in the sports world that made the sports industry shut down a lot quicker than it probably would have with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell getting the coronavirus and spreading it. And so I think that the two of them with their star power could make a push and win some games, and I would hope get to the Western Conference Finals, but who knows?
Not after that.
We'll never know now. Yeah,
team
chemistry might be.
I think if anybody, I mean, I like the Rockets. I like Westbrook and Harden, but that might just be me being biased, which I obviously do a lot. But if anybody's got anything for the Lakers or the Clippers, I think it would be the small ball Houston Rockets, no center on the roster. But, I definitely no. That's just me being hopeful and hypothetical, but there's no chance anybody had anything for them in the West. I honestly think that the Lakers would have came out. I think LeBron, Anthony Davis. I mean, I don't know. You can see the chemistry starting to form there between the two. I feel like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I mean, I know they didn't get on the court together as much as LeBron and AD did, because they would do their what is it called? Their resting.
Yeah,
whatever they call it. It's
I thought
stupid.
it was stupid. Yeah.
Kobe and Michael Jordan ain't never do that. Just saying. But anyways, I'm just saying. I don't know Paul who he had coming out of the West, but I think Lakers are the obvious decision to come out of the West. Yeah. Then East. All right, let's just address this first. If the season played out, the Hornets were only a few games back out of 8. We could have made the playoffs.
Right there all season.
All season. And we had just hit our stride. Devontae started playing good. Actually, in our last game, we beat the Heat. And the Heat are like probably one of the best teams in the East, even though they had some consistency issues. But our team was starting to come together. Even though Malik Monk did whatever he did and got suspended for indefinitely. But we had started to gel. Our young players, Miles Bridges, P.J. Washington, all started to really start playing well together. And I feel like we would have got destroyed by the Bucks if we if we played them first round. But I feel like we could have been there at least, But anyways, coming out of the East, I think it was between the Bucks and the Heat, because I like the way the Heat played. Jimmy Butler was a real leader for them. They had some. They had a lot of help. Duncan Robinson in ways that you wouldn't. Players that you wouldn't be typical. Bam, they were all meshing, playing really well together. They were a gritty team, played good defense. And when they played Bucks head to head, the Heat, I don't remember the exact, but I'm pretty sure it was like the Heat were up like 2-1 when they had played head to head so far this year. So I think that the Heat could have had something for the Bucks. Maybe Boston is there too. They played fine. Kemba, don't even get me started. But Kemba really came into his own in Boston. He's just playing like the all-star I've always known he was. But I don't want to say, wanting to bring you entertaining content, I don't want to sit here and tell you that would have been Lakers Bucks, the 1 seed versus the 1 seed in the championship, but it's a pretty good possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the Bucks and the Heat and Boston being the top 3 teams in the East and coming out, but personally, I'd like to see the Brooklyn Nets, see them make a run
Oh my
in
God.
it. I don't know why, but ever since the Nets moved back to Brooklyn, I've kind of liked them, kind of sided with them, hoping they'd do good, and they were doing pretty good this year. So,
All right, they were still 7th seed.
but they could make a run. It's always there.
They could get Kyrie on the court. And,
Yeah.
Well, KD didn't play at all.
No, yeah.
But altogether, I just wish sports would come back.
Agreed.
Like
I need something.
This is really hard.